Hey guys, welcome back. I hope that you guys have had as much rain as we have because the garden is looking quite lush and I'm really excited about that. And everything looks like it grew a foot in the last week, so that's really exciting for us. So today I actually wanted to talk about something that a good friend of mine asked, and that was she's placing out her garden and she doesn't know exactly where to put trellises or what to use on trellises. So I'm hopefully going to help her out with that today. So as far as a general garden grows, most people are going to be growing, green beans, peas, cucumbers, tomatoes, your pretty much garden essentials in my opinion, and that is great. Even if you're just starting off with tomatoes and you want to trellis those, great. That's a great place to start. It's a good starting method, and then you can always expand from there. So I started off with just tomatoes in buckets actually, and kind of got the bug from there and expanded. So things to utilize on trellises. So trellises are really good things to hold up plants. So the main thing you want to think about is when your plant bears its fruit, what kind of trellis will it need? Will it require just a lightweight one? Is it something that, like peas, are the fruit going to be really that heavy that it'll need something pretty stable? Or would you be able to get away with more of like garden twine? So think that through. So right here I have in my A-frame, I call it, it's actually two cattle panels set up against each other. So on this side we have our larger peas. These are a green arrow, and these guys get pretty full with the pea fruit. So I have these guys against the A-frame, and they're doing really good. As you can see on some of them, they actually just kind of connect. These pieces are actually to keep the deer out, so the deer don't like to be poked in the face when they're trying to eat, so it's kept them away so far. So they kind of throw out lots of fruit. So these guys are doing really good up against here. On the other side of the A-frame, I have cucumber and nasturtium. So the peas will kind of die off before the cucumber really gets going. But as you can see, there's already some great vining going on my cucumber. And the nasturtium get pretty tall too, so those guys work together as far as companion planting. But the cucumber do bear lots of fruit, and the very heavy fruit. So this A-frame, the cattle panel, really hold them up really well. And I also have the cattle panel staked in the ground. So another thing to think about are, green beans. So if you have beans or purple beans or any type of beans that are a vining variety, there are lots of bush varieties for beans. But check and make sure that yours are not vining variety, because those will require some type of trellis. They can get pretty tall too. So as you've seen in some past videos, my mother-in-law has just a net set up, and she's made it look really nice. And the netting allows the peas or beans to vine right through the netting. You can also use the stick and garden twine trellis that I did a video for before. We actually have our dwarf peas on those because it's not as sturdy, so those will hold up really well on that. The next thing to consider are tomatoes. Now tomatoes get really heavy fruit. Oftentimes they don't really require extremely heavy trellising. You just want to keep them upright. And sometimes they outgrow those big box store circular trellises quite quickly. So you might want to create something that works best for your type of plant and your variety. So those are just the main ones that I can think of. I know a lot of people do trellises with their gourds. Of course you want to trellis grapes and things like those vining varieties, because they just keep going and going. Another good thing to think about are gourds and squashes. Most acorn squash and summer squash don't need or require any type of trellising, but something to hold them up. Along with peppers. Peppers sometimes need just something to keep them from shaking off. If you've pruned peppers before, you'll find out that that really helps them to create more of a bush, and so they don't wobble so much in the wind. But those are the ones that I can think of right off the bat. Another thing to think about when you do trellis is, will my trellis be shading another part of my garden during any type of time of day? So this way is going east and west, so it's not going to be shading anything behind it because the sun will be directly over it at most points of the day. so I don't worry about that. In fact, I actually have beets growing in between my A-frame because they like a little bit more of a shade. And my cucumbers really haven't got crazy tall just yet. So those will be good. Those will be coming in soon too. Yay! And you can also grow lettuce in between if you're doing an A-frame type trellis. I know I've spoke about that before too. And the lettuce likes the shade because I don't like very, very hot sun or heat. So those are just a few things to consider when you're going to be trellising your plants. So hopefully I covered it all. I think there's a few more varieties of different plants, but I'll have to throw those in the comments because I can't think of them right now. If you have any other questions, please feel free to comment below. As always, please like and subscribe, and happy harvesting.